For the minute, we do want to get stuck into the back pages, and as I said, Kieran is with us, and we were kind of thinking this morning, Dave, when we were going through the back pages, what did we talk to Kieran about at the top? And then we pick up the front page of the Irish Examiner this morning, and there he is. I should retire because society says so. Ask Kieran Donaghy. Confirming that you're back in 2018, Kieran, that I'm presuming there's a lot of had a recourse to be reading Gooch's book recently, and he was talking about that long sort of process that it took him to, the agonising that he went through to think, am I going to continue or am I not? The conversations that he was having with yourself as well. I think you were pretty encouraging that he would go back. And maybe that's the essence of your own decision here, that you'll be a long time retired, I guess. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, look, it was I suppose the ultimate thing it comes down to is do I feel I can help Kerry, and on the back of last year, you know, I still feel I can do a job for the team, and Eamon was anxious to have me back. So, you know, once I talked to work and talked to the family and ironed out a few things there, because you know, you have to have support from all them angles, or it won't work otherwise. So yeah, I kind of had all that, and then it just came down to a football, and can I get the 35-year-old body to move like I did last year at stages. So just trying to get to that now, and back starting in the gym and all that kind of stuff, and the basketball will keep me going over the winter. So yeah, looking forward to it. How quickly do you get into a thought process like that? Because frequently we hear from fellas, like, after when their championship is done, it's like, well, look, I'm not thinking about that just yet. And you sort of assume that the process has started pretty quickly in the background of, am I going to make this call? What way am I going to go? How quickly after the championship ends are you starting to think about and starting to have those conversations? For me, it was as I was leaving the pitch after the semi-final, after getting a straight red card. So it's you think about it straight away when you're at this stage. It's when you I'm sure for the Dublin fellas, for Dennis Bastick now who retired this year, I'm sure he kind of knew leaving the pitch that was it. Was the red card a factor? It definitely was, I think, in Sean Kavanagh's thinking. He did not want his final act in a jersey of Tyrone to be a straight red card, which is what happened to him in the quarter-final last year. It wasn't any factor in it, really. The factor was just, I enjoyed myself so much playing with Kerry last year. I enjoyed being in with the team. I enjoyed the psychological battle of it all, being a Kerry footballer, and you know, I looked at the Super 8s. I looked at, you know, a possible Munster final in Páirc Uí Chaoimh, the new Páirc Uí Chaoimh, which I haven't played in. So, you know, there was a load of them factors. The red card wouldn't have been in it, like, you know. But at the same time, that's definitely not what you want to be your final moment. Well, don't say that in case I get sent off next year. It's that's just sport. Keep your fist to yourself. Yeah, you'll be all right. That's sport. Things happen in games, and, you know, fellas do get red cards and so on, and it's another part of the game, and you could finish by kicking 5 points, or getting sent off, or getting subbed off. Either way, people have forgotten about that in a couple of years, either way, and they just think about the medals and the longevity of the career, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not McIntyre, that's it. They'd be happy about the red card forever. Here, it's obvious from talking to you that I'm assuming with players, like, the passion to play for the county and to put on the jersey and do all those things, like, never really diminishes. It's just whether the body can follow. Exactly, yeah. It's like, the way you have to think about it is there's 26 fellas selected from the county of Kerry to represent us as a clan, and I've been lucky to be a part of that, and it was a goal and a huge ambition of mine for the ages of 18 to 22, 23 till I broke into the team, and it was a constant kind of nagging at me, was I good enough to be a part of the team, and, you know, or am I a basketballer that's not really going to make it at football? And that was something that kind of drilled me for years into trying to get there. And then I got there, and, you know, from 2004, 2005, 2006 kind of on, it just becomes this journey, and it's like the bus that you're having great crack on with all the boys, and next thing they want to drop you off early, and you kind of don't want to go. And whether it might be early, and some fellas might be say it's time for you to get off, but for me it's just about am I enjoying it, am I able to do it, and all that comes along in with the chance to represent Kerry in the championship next year. And, you know, it's I think I have 66 games, so just try. Yeah, 2004. Yeah, there you go. And the big jersey horsed over another jersey. What's the jersey underneath? I'd say it's another Kerry jersey, I'd say. You just couldn't get enough of the Manias. Maybe, yeah, I did. I worked hard enough to get one on, so I said I was going to run with two for a while. But yeah, I know that, like, so you go from there, and it's
it's a roller coaster, and there's ups and there's downs. And what I've kind of gotten out of the last few years, because I'm on about retiring now for a while, so you know, probably the injuries in 2013 really was the first time all of a sudden this dreadful question started coming into my head: is one, this body's not going to allow you to play anymore, and you're going to have to give up playing for Kerry. And that was why I was, you know, there was a bit in the book about getting up early every morning at 6 o'clock, and all that was because I didn't want that journey to end. You know, I felt I worked too hard for a groin injury to say, no, you can't play anymore. And the fear of having to come to that realisation that, and it happens to county players, club players all over the place, where an injury does finish them. And, you know, and to the point of view of that, where I'm kind of around the place now, and I don't have any major aches. I have a few small things as you do have at this age, so, you know, but it's nothing that's going to stop me playing. And I just kind of said, if they want me back and I want to play for Kerry, because the honour it is, to not let anything get in the way that I could be sorry down the line. I didn't want to get to March or April, finish the basketball and kind of go, geez, I still feel like I could do something, or that's it, or that's it. No, you know, I have to wait till, you know, get back in with the club or whatever. But for me, it was about, you know, that I just felt that there was, you know, that it's so enjoyable, and it's such an honour to be a part of the thing. And, you know, while I'm able to basically drive on, the easier thing to do for me now is probably retire. Yeah. It probably is, but it's easy that's what I kind of meant by that in society. It's easy in society to say, oh, he's 34, he's just retire. Yeah. But you ask any fella that's played to this age, it's like a drug being a Kerry player, and that buzz you get from a championship game in Croke Park, or a Munster final in Killarney or Páirc Uí Chaoimh, or these kind of games. You're not going to get that buzz again in life too easy. You know, it's kind of, you've put so much into to be able to get it, to just give it up. And I had a good buddy, Vinny, always told me, let the game retire you, you know, that kind of way. And I was
just going to ask you, are you happy enough for Kerry to retire you, as opposed to you taking the decision to walk away while you still think you can offer something? Because did you sit down with Aidan Fitzmaurice and make sure that you were actually in his plans?
Oh yeah.
Or you decided you were going to come back?
Yeah. Oh, that's a big thing. Like, I wanted to make sure that
Eamon Fitzmaurice, obviously not.
Yeah, Eamon. Yeah, I wanted Eamon to kind of, you know, say, look, we want you to come back, and we want you to really think about it, because they would have known my plans. They would have known my plan last year was to retire, and that was what I had set in my head. So when you're asking when you start thinking about it, like as I'm going off Croke Park that day, and you're going down the tunnel, you're kind of walking through the tunnel, you're saying, this is it. You get into the dressing room like, this is the last time I'm going to see this. You know, they're the thoughts that are going on in your head. The loss actually becomes, at that age, it's kind of like, it's a factor, but like what's nearly going on more in your head is everywhere you walk, everywhere you go, it's always the last time you're going to get into the elevator at the bottom, the players, like the tunnel going up. So all them kind of things are going through in your head, and you're kind of in the team bus, and you're looking out at Croke Park afterwards, and you're saying, is that the last time I'm going to be in that arena, that gladiatorial arena, going into a war, and you know, that what that brings to a person, getting up for that, and getting the training for that in all that stages. As I realise as a 35-year-old, the result is, you know, when they go for you, it's great. When they don't, it's bad. But actually being a part of the journey, and I realised that right in the book last year, is that this journey is special in itself. And I've been blessed to play and win what we have with Kerry. And for me, it's about enjoying it now and just getting back, trying to help the younger lads.
On that point, like, and having been through that process that you've been through for the last 12 months, as you're saying, that you were of a mind that you were going to retire actually, and so everything was your last thing. So does that mean that this year, 2018, then becomes a year that's a bit of a, like, almost a bonus year, and there's almost a freedom in that, where you're not having those thoughts where you're like, oh, it's the last time I'm going to do this thing, because it's bonus territory, or conversely, because you're fairly sure it might be your last year, are you back there again?
Yeah, you're definitely back there again, because all them questions will still come up for all them games next year when you get in. If you get into Croke Park and you have a big game, you know, it's kind of, this is it. And I knew that last year, but you know, once the game starts, you're not thinking about anything like that. It's a kind of a pre-game and a post-game thing. Once the ball is thrown in, you're playing for Kerry, and you've got to fight in your back to try and help Kerry win, and that's the end of it. And the sentimental stuff never comes into your head as you're playing the game. It's maybe in a parade beforehand. It's right after the game, the final whistle. So it's that kind of, but it is bonus territory. In my head, you know, 2013 with the injuries and not being on the team and not feeling a part of the group and not that I didn't feel wanted, but I didn't feel that, you know, with the kind of injury that I had the stuff to go help Kerry. So, you know, everything was a bonus. After that, 14 was a bonus. 15, I got
15, I thought you were done, because I was in the commentary box and you spent about 15-20 minutes, because you were captain that year and obviously didn't go the way you wanted it with your little girl as well. It looked to me like you were taking one final look around Croke Park in 2015. At that moment, things changed.
Yeah,
in your mind, that's what you were doing.
Yeah, that moment I was, yeah. And
Mark was out there as well with you, wasn't he?
Mark was out there,
and it looked like the two boys are just saying their goodbyes.
Yeah, it was. Look, I was captain of Kerry. Never thought I'd get that honour, and was, you know, to lose a final as captain is always tough. But, you know, that day was about, you know, that few minutes with Lola Rose out on the pitch was just to try and soak in. I wasn't thinking about the game or that loss. I was thinking about everything. I was thinking about the Armagh game. I was thinking about Cork 07 getting 2 goals in the final, my first final. I was thinking about, you know, big losses, the loss in 2011 to Dublin. I was sitting there thinking, I was looking around the pitch and all these little images.
You had this incredible flashback while sitting on the pitch after that final. That's like something from a movie.
Yeah, you're kind of thinking about it, and she was kind of Lola Rose was a kind of useful distraction, because you'd be looking around and you think of something, you start feeling a bit sorry for yourself, and next you look over and she's just looking at you laughing away, and it's kind of like, okay, life is moving on. So certainly at that stage, 15, you know, I thought that was, you know, I thought that was it, and you know, it's.
I felt sorry for her because it was a particularly wet day and she was being soaked while you. You know, took one last look around Croke Park. I was like, when is he going to get that little girl back into the warmth and the dry of the
That's just the humanity of you, Dave.
Exactly.
You know,
fair play to you, Dave. Making me feel bad now.
Yeah, you didn't thought about that before.
Did she get sick after that game?
I do remember actually talking to you in Croke Park at some point after that. Maybe it wasn't that long, maybe a few weeks afterwards, and talking about the role you had played that year, and you kind of saying you had played a different kind of a role for Kerry that year in terms of your general role over the course of a week that might not necessarily have been starting every week. What's the sort of conversation that, and as you say yourself in the examiners this morning, you were nominated for an All-Star this year, so it's not as if you're some sort of a make-weight in this Kerry team, but what sort of conversation have you had with Eamon about what the plan might be? Like, he's never going to be able, he's not picking his first 15 now anyway, right? But like, what's the conversation there about what the role might be in 2018?
I suppose just very similar last year, to keep up my weight sessions with the lads, keep up the 3 nights basketball. I'm kind of at it, I'll be at it 5 nights a week, you know, I'm at that now really for the last 2 weeks. So just about getting myself and my body in as good shape as possible. And if I am in good shape, and touch wood, get through the basketball season without picking up injuries, you know, I'm going in to try and start for Kerry. That's always been my goal. There's been years that I haven't started, or there's been certain games that I've been dropped for, and you know, I've always come back from that. And you know, because last year went well for me, I'm not in some kind of I'm not in some kind of mind zone that it's going to just be, it's going to be the same, or I'm going to, you know, it's going to be the same as last year. There's nothing ever the same. And actually coming back from 15, I learned that lesson as captain. I did everything the same in 15 because I had a good year. I had a good end to the year in 14. So my rationale was do everything the same. But the same is never good enough in this game, and the game moves on all the time. So coming back in 16, that was when you're on about the feeling of that year in 15 coming off the pitch. I was like, did I go all out as captain? Did I, you know, or did I just do the same as last year? But I felt what the same was last year was going to be good enough because we won the All-Ireland and I played well. So it's not I kind of afterwards I said I just maybe fell into a bit of a trap. So that's why in 16 and last year, you know, I just trained as hard as I could and just got the body in as good a shape as possible. And whatever comes after that then comes, whether you're starting, whether you're coming off the bench, whether you don't play at all and you're mentoring the young fellas. You know, it's
definitely a role for you.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. Look, like the ultimate question I asked myself in the end, and if I felt this answer wasn't, can I help Kerry next year? Can I help Kerry try and achieve what we always set out to achieve in Kerry, is win the All-Ireland? Can I help Kerry along that road? And my answer was yes. And when Eamon was asking me back, that was the question. That was the first question I'd answer. Then I'd talk to Hillary, two baby girls at home now. What do you think about this gone away for 3 or 4 nights?
Not great, I'd say.
And 2 mornings. And 2 mornings. No, she very quickly said, look, Kieran, look, we you know, you're not going to be playing forever. If you have it in you, I'll pick up the slack at home, and then I had to go and talk to PST and talk to Colin and Ger, and just say, lads, look, because like even with these grants out this morning, like my job is a bit of a road warrior. I'm going out meeting clubs and going out meeting schools and
it's artificial pitches and
artificial pitches and getting out and meeting the customers. And them grants were announced yesterday, so my phone was blowing up yesterday. Oh yeah, we got money from the grant. Can you come up and meet us? Can you come up and meet us? So they know that by me playing with Kerry, that there's a Tuesday and a Thursday night, and there's a Monday and a Wednesday and Friday morning in the gym, and we can't leave. And we're in Kerry, so if I have to go to Dublin and I'm in the gym at 7, I can't leave the gym till 8:30, and we're not getting to Dublin till 11:30. You know, you're trying to get appointments and you're trying to get home. So they know that there was a bit of a, you know, I was telling them last year, look lads, next year now I can drive every day and I can go to Belfast and Dublin and Donegal, wherever you need me to go, I'll be, because I won't be playing with Kerry, and that'll be the end of it. And so I had to go to them and approach them. But the boys are two very passionate football people in general, and definitely two very passionate Kerry men.
Well, let's face it, it's certainly no bad thing for an up and coming business to have a current Kerry footballer as part of the ranks.
Yeah, maybe that was their planning, maybe that was their thinking, but no, it was just about, you know, I felt it was kind of supporting me in whatever you wanted to do, and you know, which was a nice relief, because I was a bit edgy going to them, because I made this big passionate thing last year that we'd be next.
I'm all yours, lads.
Yeah, next winter, and we knew the grants were going to be announced this, you know, around this time of year, and I was saying, lads, it's going to be mental, because we're busy, we're very busy as it is, and never mind when these grants come out now, all of a sudden there's clubs of 150 grand, there's clubs of 70 grand, they want to get their ball wall, they want to get their AstroTurf, and whether it's Gortnahu, where I was up in Tipperary on Wednesday, or if it's, you know, any of the places I go, it's they want their pitch and they want it done right, and it's kind of a case of you kind of have to get out and meet them. You can't. These products are 100,000, 200,000, 500,000 for a full size, you know, soccer pitch or rugby pitch, 750k for a full size GA pitch, but a ball wall might be 70,000, and an AstroTurf area around for a club in North Tipperary. But they want it done, and they want it done right, and they want me to come out and meet them straight away. You know, and they want to tell me, look, this is how much we have, and this is how much, and we're going to have a fundraiser, and we're going to be ready to go. Can you do it? And you're trying to fit them into a program of work. So there's a lot of to and fro from that side of it. But you know, in the end of the day, I was getting support from them. I was getting support from my family to go play. The Kerry management was obviously a big thing. So you get a feel, you know, do they want you in the plans? Are they thinking about you in the plans? And their simple thing was, look, last year you were a big player for us, and we want you to be a big player again this year. And yeah, it's selfish by us, and you know, it's just, we want you back. And when I weighed up all them things, and as you said at the start of the show, you're retired long enough, and you always hear that of fellas that are retired, and definitely fellas that retired maybe a year or two early, and they feel, geez, you'll be retired long enough, you know, keep going while you can.
We've just spoken to a couple of the lads who've recently bounced out and said, here,
I didn't really, because I didn't want to be influenced by them,
right?
You know, because you really want this to be your own decision. If you go around and talk to Colm and Paul Galvin and Tomas, and next thing you come away going, yeah, the boys, yeah, it's probably better to retire, actually. You know, I don't want people writing next year, oh, Kieran Donaghy should have retired, or Kieran Donaghy's gone past it, why didn't he retire last year? I'm not worried about, if that happens, I'm not worried about that. If I feel I'm helping Kerry, whatever way possible, the sacrifice of the training and all that is well worth it. And you know, I didn't want anybody getting in my head about should I give it up, because that's the thing you should be doing at 34 when you're 6'5" and you've done enough in the game. You know, it's probably the kind of easier thing to do. So I didn't want to let anybody influence that. This was about me, my family, and my job, and Kerry, and that was basically it. And the basketball, obviously, you know, I was kind of keen to kind of go along and do it, and you know, maybe get a few more footballing sessions in the winter, because last year I very much, you know, it was Super League, and it was our first season, and I was very much committed to it, and I'd given the lads, the club, the word that they'd have me all the time. So when Eamon gave me that kind of olive branch last year of, yeah, you can do that, look, just do the gym with the boys and come back. I came back and I was good and I was sharp and all that, but you know, even Maurice Fitz was saying just maybe get in and get a few kicking sessions done, get a few kicking drills done, ball winning drills, just to keep your eye in for the football. And I was kind of saying, yeah, look, I think it'd be no harm. I think, you know, the basketball certainly had my eye in last year, but getting in with the lads and getting the odd few field sessions into me over the winter, not too many, because I'd be doing 3 nights with the basketball, but just to kind of, as well, to check in with the boys, because you do your gym now, there's the Tralee group, there's a Dingle group, there's a Killarney group, there's a South Kerry group. So you're kind of I'm meeting the Tralee boys all the day in the gym, but the rest of the lads might necessarily know that, is Donaghy working, is he doing the stuff, is he up at 7, is he in the gym sessions? And as much as you tell, I'm in the gym with the boys, it's good that they actually see you around the place. And last year I was
You want to be dropping little WhatsApp photographs into the group or whatever. Here I am in the gym at like 6 a.m, thumbs up.
Yeah, I hate them pictures into the WhatsApp group, to be honest. I hate WhatsApp groups in general.
Well, you don't have to bounce out of that one anyway just yet. No. Needless to say, the good wishes from Kerry have been coming in, and maybe less so from outside of Kerry. We'll just
you don't say, no?
Sarah Northern on Facebook saying, best news ever, come on the kingdom, and that's generally the sentiment. And as I said, that is the front page of the Examiner this morning. Good photograph of Kieran there, and some interesting stuff as well inside. As always, the main achievement this morning, Kieran, was not that you've decided to come back for 2018. That for the first time that I can remember in most recent history, you've knocked Ronald O'Gara off the front page of the Examiner sports section on a Friday. So I mean, that's in itself quite the achievement.
Jeez, I must ring him about that.
Ronald's got some
bit of a touch.
Yeah, he's got some good stuff in here about Peter O'Mahony and the decision that he has to make ahead. Peter O'Mahony is the most Munster of Munster players, he says, and we're going to get into that in a bit more detail later on, but some good stuff from Rog.
Yeah, moving on to today's Irish Times. It's about the government funding to the various sports clubs across the country that Kieran was referencing a few moments ago. Government open to future World Cup bids as well, which is that's the main part of it, really. The fact that they're going to be looking at the manner in which they put the bids together this time around World Rugby, and there's going to be a major change to the recommendation to basically, well, the independent way they went about it, the project this year, just hasn't worked. Farcical is some of the words that were being used, but that's an interesting one that we'll get into a few moments ago. How will the World Cup and the next host of the World Cup be planned, and who's going to decide it? Yeah,
similar theme on the back page of the Irish Independent this morning here from Gavin Mayers. World Rugby consider bid revamp after 2023 farce. So I mean, the bid is hardly over and already we're describing it as a farce. I'm sure this is great news for the IRFU to be waking up to this morning to discover that the effort that was put in over the last couple of years was all for nothing. And just some interesting stuff there about Brett Gosper, the head of World Rugby, suggesting that it was likely that the policy of the board recommending a host would be scrapped. So that process is now done, like a couple of weeks after, and it does seem as if there was a dawning realisation sort of halfway through the process that maybe it wasn't exactly the right one. And also capital gains, as Dublin clubs enjoyed €3.3 million windfall here from Colm Keys on the back page. So yeah, the glut of cash from this capital sports capital programme that was announced yesterday, a lot of it is going to Dublin clubs, and like it's 5 of 7 sort of at an elite level that Dublin have won obviously over the last 7 years. You would kind of think that at a governmental level and at a group level from the GAA point of view that you would be looking at the other counties and saying, how can we lift these counties up by the bootstraps? And you would kind of think that's the first port of call, to be pouring some funds in to give them the possibility of raising all boats here.
Yeah, well, I guess is mainly focused on the clubs, but you're right, that's the starting point for every decent inter-county team, is what's been done at club level, and the Dublin Club Championship is so strong. They deliver so many All-Ireland finalists and All-Ireland champions that it's an incredible boost to football in the county. And when you look at the numbers, they don't really stack up, because there were 27 clubs that got the maximum €150,000 funding this time around. 11 of that 27 are from Dublin. Now, obviously, a Dublin club, an elite Dublin club, is just in as much need of this kind of funding as a club anywhere else in the country, but the proportion just doesn't seem to make any sense.
The point is, there's always going to be some imbalance because the vast majority of the population live in Dublin. Yeah. But it doesn't fully actually address the disproportion with the numbers.
It doesn't, but it kind of does when you see the amount of clubs that are here, and I think a big thing with these grants, a lot of it is, and we've met a lot of the clubs in Dublin, it's training facilities, because they've got 12 under 14 teams and they've got 14 under 16, reckless numbers at underage level, obviously coming on the back of Dublin's huge success since 2011. So, you know, the numbers they have coming in, they have to be able to put them out somewhere on a pitch. Do you know what I mean? So they need areas to train. They need more facilities. You know, look, It is a big number, and you know, you'd love the rest of the county to be getting it as well. In an ideal world, you'd love every county to be getting 3.3 million, and yeah, that'd be great. But the facts of the reality is there's just so many clubs in here, and as you say, the population is so big up here that, you know, I would say, I don't know how you do it, I wouldn't be any great mathsman, but if you broke down the amount per population per area, that'd probably be a fairer reflection on
fair point.
On who's getting what and what the actual breakdown is, because we're doing it here it's every child in Ireland they're trying to think of. You know, they're not saying, oh, it's Dublin GA we're looking after. It's making sure kids have facilities to get out and play on, and you know, like we see with the AstroTurf, the amount of it that's going in, and a lot of it is to get kids able to go out and play in January and February on pitches and train, that they're not wrecked, they're coming in with muck, or they're actually finding the game enjoyable, and it's easier to play and coach, you know. So it's I would say if that's how they could break it down per person, how much did the county get to the population of the county, because you know, I think that's the only way they can look at it. I think the numbers slightly, I know they lean towards Dublin that, but as you will say, it's I would say it's a population thing, and you know,
we probably need anecdotal evidence of clubs in rural areas or down the country that applied for these grants and were turned down, maybe, and the criteria for what reason they were turned down.
I don't even think that it was that, because Colin Keyes writes in his piece this morning that the Dublin clubs have probably put together better proposals to secure those grants, which might not be the most incredible thing in the world. I think that may well be the case. So, like, then let's address that point. Let's actually put some structures in place to help clubs around the country to put together better proposals to bring in more money. Like, it does strike me as well as you're talking as well that one of the big issues for Dublin clubs actually is space. That they've got all these extra players, kids coming in since all the successes come on board, and frequently in Dublin and in other major urban centres, they just don't have the space to put the pitches.
Yeah, exactly, and if they, you know, that's why the artificial turf is become so big, is because you can have all these teams on the pitch now, they can be off in an hour. You have all the other teams on the pitch, they can be off in an hour. Whereas with a natural pitch, that pitch is going to eventually.
I'm sold, Kieran. You don't need to do. No, As long GA club are going to be getting an artificial.
Yeah,
pitch.
Dave's going to be selling it for me now, and he's going to be my contact in Dublin with his artificial garden that we're. So, but yeah, but it is that though. It's space, and how do you utilise your space the best, and that's why six of them full grants are probably going to be looking at the lines of a full size synthetic pitch. And we've been talking to them, so I know, and that's why is because it's not that they can play their games on a 3G pitch, it's that they can be at it from
24/7.
Correct, 9 in the morning to 3 on the Saturday, and they get all their teams and all their kids taken care of. Yeah. And I would say that's a big part of it.
Makes sense.
I do think the GA need to look at educating county boards and club boards all over the country to ensure that they are able to put the same high-profile elite proposals together as the Dublin GA machine is.
They're quite hard, actually. They're quite very technical.
There was the FAI much maligned scheme of this year, the €5,000 to League of Ireland clubs to build together a future-proofed plan is a really good. Actually, if it was couched in a slightly different way, it was kind of couched as we're giving clubs $5,000 and that was it. It was $5,000 to go and build a strategic plan. Something like that would totally work at GA level. If the GA or these government grants were in contact with county boards to say, we'll give you X euro to facilitate an expert to come out and meet with your clubs and put together that plan. And it means actually then you're dealing with a level playing field rather than some bigger clubs being able to come forward with loads of resources and loads of expertise because they've got huge populations with amazing proposals that you can't turn down.
Yeah.
And then other clubs writing on the back of a postage stamp, well, we kind of need this.
Yeah, I don't think it's actually, like I hear what you're saying about the proposals. It's more about, I think most people got money this time in the grant. I think any proposals that didn't make it were just that the applications failed. It wasn't us and Austin Stacks and Tralee, we need a pitch more than you need it in Dublin, and we need it for our club. And it's not a big sob story. It's quite technical when you apply for these grants. I'd say they're not looking at it going, oh, Austin Stacks and Tralee need a new shower area in their clubhouse. I don't think it is. I think if you pass, you pass. And I think they get all the ones that pass into a bowl, and then it's about splitting it up and seeing like that. Dublin are getting this much, Kerry are getting this much, Cork are getting that much, and and that's GA, and then you've got rugby, and then you've got soccer, and then you've got, I was going through the list, you've tennis, you've every sport are applying to the government for money, rowing, boxing, all these clubs that are applying for for funds. So it's kind of not just the GEA, but there is guys that go out and help people with their applications to make sure that their application doesn't fail. And I think the government have done a great job getting 60 million. It was 30 originally. You know, we're a sports mad country. 30 million wasn't going to cut it. There was going to be a lot of people disappointed. They went away. The sports ministers, Brendan Griffin and Simon, what's his name?
Patrick, isn't it?
What's the sports ministers went away anyway, and they got another. They worked hard to get another 30 million. So they've 60 makes a big difference. But then you say, if you could put that up to 90, there's an awful lot more people.
It's never enough.
So it's never enough, but it never is enough. 30 was definitely not going to be enough. 60 is still not enough. So that's, we're, I say it every day, we're a sports mad country that play everything. We're stuck in everything: golf, football, hurling, rugby. We're all for it. And we're competing in it. Brendan
Griffin is that guy's name. The Ireland edition of the Times, Dave?
Yeah, it's Ireland can host a Rugby World Cup. Some patronising kind of backhanded compliment, I think, from World Rugby Board, and that saying Ireland have proved that a small country, the population that we have, could actually host a World Cup, despite the fact that we did finish third in the bidding, and it didn't come out of it all that well. But they insist that we can do it at some stage, or that a country in the future with our size of population and playing pool can host a Rugby World Cup. We shall see.
The Herald here, the front page of the sports section. No way Jose will park the bus. Arsene Wenger expects Mourinho to go on the offensive when United visit Arsenal at the Emirates tomorrow. And John Giles and Brent Pope there. Brent Pope writing about Jordan Lormer will be a major success if evidence of his game against Dragons last weekend is nothing to go by. The guy's an absolute sensation.
This is the back of today's Irish Daily Star. Nathan to see here. It is not Nathan Murphy. It's Nathan Redmond. Pep Guardiola obviously had that pretty high profile, I'm not sure of the word spat, but they certainly had a heated discussion at the back end of that Premier League game the other night at the Etihad Stadium when Southampton went so close to taking a point off Manchester City. But he's trying to blow it down, and Nathan Redmond himself has said that it was all complimentary, despite the fact that Guardiola was very much in his face. Word on Tiger as well, back in the groove. Decent performance from him in his return at the World Hero Challenge last night. And a word on Sam Allardyce yesterday as well, confirmed finally what we knew all along all week, that he is the new Everton manager.
The Irish Daily Mirror this morning, on the very front page here is the story that we've been reading about over the last few days. I made 140 million in a day, says Conor McGregor, as he rocks up at court to pay a speeding fine that was it was the third time that he'd been due to appear at the court. He got fined in the end €400 for speeding to Conor McGregor, and the judge says to him, it was something along the lines of, did you earn 140 million? He's like, yeah, I did. And you get €400 fine, and she says to him, well, you can pay it in installments if you want. He does hop into his car afterwards, by the way, in the video footage as well. We're checking out his sports car that's parked outside the court with the DeLorean style doors opened up, and speeds off down the I was trying to look up yesterday what the speed limit at Blanchardstown court was. I couldn't quite.
He was going faster because I saw the video.
I kind of thought he might be in line for
hilarious. There was a fellow with a speed gun below the bottom, jumped on the road. Tommy Tiernan.
The back page of the Mirror give peace a chance here. So more about Sam Allardyce and Arsenal in for Johnny Evans.
Sam Allardyce has taken a leaf out of Donald Trump's book when it comes to promoting his new job as today's Irish Sun. Make Everton great again. Sam Allardyce starting 18-month contract, which is a little less time than a lot of people would have predicted, but he feels that Everton can be a really big club again, and certainly they do not belong in the portion of the Premier League table that they currently occupy.
Racing Post here, Thistle's back, and this is the story about Thistlecrack making his return this weekend. The World Hurdle winner in 2016 and the King George VI winner. Huge 2016 for Thistlecrack, and great to see that Thistlecrack is back on the course this weekend. And the last but not least, today's Guardian, it's all about the Ashes, because the second Ashes test, I know you're all over it, Adrian, it's starting at around 2 a.m. tomorrow morning Irish time in Sydney. Australia anti-Spurs on, says Ruud. It's something we talked about on OTB AM last week, particularly around the so-called headbutt involving Johnny Bairstow, the England wicketkeeper. It's let's hope there's plenty more stories like that to get us through the second test as well, because it certainly livened up week one. Yeah, similar story here on the Daily Telegraph this morning. Boiling point. You've been watching a bit of it, Dave.
I watched
getting up at sort of is it 2:30 in the morning? Is not really
in as much as you want. I think the first day, the second test starts about 2:30 tonight, but I would maybe watch an hour in the morning before because I'm up anyway, and then play will be going on till 8 or 9. Irish time. But you can get all the radio commentary as well, Test Match Special, old school, like they used to listen to the wireless many years ago, back in the early part of the 20th century. It's a great way to fall asleep.
You watching it?
No, I'd get up. I wouldn't be volunteering to feed the baby on these nights. No, I'm a great man when the NBA finals or the playoffs are on. I'm feeding babies every night. 3 o'clock in the morning, no problem. Do you know what I'll do it downstairs so you can get a nice sleep and I'm falling asleep watching NBA with the small one in my hands. But yeah, no, I wouldn't be getting up to watch the Ashes. No, I'm sorry.
Multitasking, Kieran. That's what it's called.
Multitasking, yeah. The modern man by we're mighty men.
Yeah. Right, keep your comments coming into us. It's 22 minutes past 8 on this Friday morning. Delighted to have you with us here on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, and as well on our audio feed. You are tuned into OTB AM. Get in touch with us here on the Facebook page or anywhere else. We're with Kieran Donaghy and we're with Dave McIntyre as well this morning, and we've loads of good stuff to come. We're going to be getting into the Premier League with Nathan and Kevin very shortly, and the bariometer, which you've been waiting for, is on the way before 9 o'clock as well. But we're going to get into some basketball chat with Kieran in just a second. But before that, our own Oisin has been out to speak with another GAA star who's turned his hand to basketball. It's Darragh MacAuley.
Well, here on the court at UCD, where UCD Marion, the home team, have beaten Éine in the Basketball Ireland Super League. And Darragh MacAuley, you made a bruising return to Super League basketball for Éine tonight. Talk to us about the knock to the head.
Yeah, wouldn't be like me to bring a bit of drama. Look, it happens. People say it's a non-contact sport. That is a lie. It was completely accidental. It was actually one of my friends on the other team. Just went up for a rebound and he caught me on the way back down. So there was nothing malicious in it. But yeah, he split me nicely right down the middle of the forehead. So that's the way it goes, yeah.
Well, when you saw me arrive in from the library and looked at me and said, "What are you doing here?" I knew you were okay. I knew there was nothing wrong with the head. I say back at Super League basketball. I don't think you've actually played Super League before. You have been playing basketball all along. Why now, though? Why the return now?
I have played Super League before.
Oh, have you? Okay.
I played Super League when I was 17 years old.
Okay.
So I've just had a little bit of a gap, a little bit of an intermission there. I suppose basketball was my life growing up, and I played Super League when I was young, when I was kind of 17. Kind of here and there, so I was still playing under 20s and Irish teams at that stage, and then I suppose this is the first time I've been able to give it a good lash. So as soon as that All Ireland dropped, I finished. I picked up a basketball on the Tuesday, and that was it. And I've been going hard since. So I really enjoy it. Like, you don't have to every training session, every game. I love it. I love lacing up my boots. So it's great.
And are you doing it to extend the football career? Is it even related to the football career? Or are you just doing it because you love to play basketball and it's the time of year to do it?
Yeah, I'm doing it because I love to play basketball. Yeah. That's why I'm doing it. Obviously there's benefits. I'm flying fit and stuff, but I'm doing it because I love playing basketball. Yeah.
And you are fit as well, because you've had a lot of injury over the last year, so it's good to see you back out there. I suppose you wanted to get back out there and keep that fitness level as you go into the new year with Dublin. Yeah, look, I've been absolutely completely injury free now since July, I think. So body is unbelievable at the moment. It's all good. I really enjoying playing. That was my first game, and as I said, a couple of years. So it's a different standard. So I've been playing the whole off season, but I was just playing in a lower division. It was good fun coming up playing Super League with the big boys. I'm not sure if you noticed, but Jim Gavin dropped in to have a look. Dublin were playing UCD in a challenge match in the Billings Park, but Jim was having a look down, and he does take an awful lot from basketball. We know that. I did, yeah. No, I didn't spot him. A few of the lads came in there to give me a bit of grief wearing the headband in the match, which is to be expected. I didn't see Jim. No, look, Jim's actually a big fan of basketball, so he knows. There is huge huge kind of things that can kind of sink over between the two. So, and Jim's well aware of that. So I didn't see him there now. Come here, what was the difference between being out there and going up and down? Because I actually said it on commentary. It's like watching you play football. You're going up and down, and using the peripheral vision and spotting people and spreading the ball around. You kind of play basketball like you play football, or maybe you play football like you play basketball. Yeah, probably the latter. Yeah. No, so I quite similar. I kind of just go hard at the basket, try and kind of dish it off, try and get players open, get some assists. Quite similar. Yeah, so I just enjoy it. I kind of go hard every single play, offense, defense, just go as hard as I can. And is there a plan to stick for the season, or are you just seeing how it goes at the moment? Seeing how it goes, yeah. No, I'm enjoying it. So hopefully we can get. See, I suppose the thing is this: I wasn't expecting to play it really, so I have a few kind of prior engagements coming up, so it's kind of tough to balance. We have a big cup game coming up, so I'm trying to free up a few things, but.
yeah, so it's tough. We'll see how it goes, but I'm really enjoying it. So I'm gonna keep playing it now for as long as I can. Yeah, as long as they want me.
Okay, Michael, Darragh, MacAuley, thank you very much for joining us. Unfortunately, not the result you wanted tonight, but you put up a great performance, and Marion are in an absolutely fantastic form. So to bring them to 5 points wasn't bad at all. That's it from UCD. Back to you.
Thanks a lot, Oisin. And Michael Darragh there at UCD last night. Jim Gavin rocks up to have a look at that. I was kind of wondering if Eamon Fitz is a regular feature down at the complex in Tralee.
Yeah, no, he's been to a few games. Yeah, he enjoys it on a Saturday night, like everybody in Tralee.
Yeah, looking at you going, here, listen, take it easy.
Take it easy, man.
Take it handy.
I'd say looking through squinted eyes at stages, alright, I'd be throwing myself around the place, yeah, but no, he likes the game.
We want to talk about the basketball in Belfast, and we'll do that in a second. Actually, when we were chatting earlier on, it did kind of strike me, just in terms of the injuries, and Michael Darragh had a pretty tasty one between the eyes there last night, but it's a hard surface. It strikes me as a sport that's pretty hard in the body.
It's hard enough in the body, but what Michael Darragh got now last night was something that can happen easily. Fellas coming down off a rebound, fellas have pointy elbows. You're trying to get it off them, and they catch you with one, and we've all got them. But the way Michael Darragh throws himself around, it wouldn't surprise me that he has that he got a bang into the head.
Joe Padden style there, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, no. In fairness to them, it's great to have him playing in the league. He'll be a big draw to games in Dublin. And yeah, fantastic to have another GA lad that's kind of he's very like myself. He's a basketball guy originally, and
yeah, he said at the end there he does play his Gaelic football like a basketballer as opposed to the other way around, and you'd be similar enough.
I would be, absolutely. And the crossover is, you know, Wayne Quinlan there, the new Stacks manager in Tralee, had them up. He was talking to me. He had them up. He's bringing them to the hall for a few weeks and playing basketball with them, little blitzes, doing conditioning work, working on their hand-eye coordination, working on their vision. So the overlap, the hands, the catching of the ball, the overlap is massive between the two games. Clubs in Kerry, in Tralee, actually have set up kind of things now for their footballers to fall in with the basketball club for a certain amount of months over the winter, just to keep a bunch of 8-year-olds together rather than finishing football in September, October, when it gets cold and dark and they don't have anything to do till March again. They're kind of set up an alliance with the clubs in Tralee that they go in and that they can get the hall and they can play and they can, you know, there's even football drills that they're doing with basketballs inside there. So it's
that's great.
It's a massive overlap.
It's not rugby and it's not soccer, so it's actually fine. Everybody can sort of get on with it.
Yeah, the injuries are a lot like that. Them kind of contact injuries, just diving, and the floor is hard, but it's wood in most places. It's not, you know, there's the same injuries that happen in basketball can happen in football, and injuries happen, and that's a big thing where my mum said, are you having a midlife crisis to me at 35? The fact that I'm back playing both again, and I gave them up when I was 25 because I couldn't play the both of them because of my body, and now she's like, you're back playing. So, you know, but it happens. Injuries happen, and you could get injured walking down the stairs, you can get injured anywhere. So, you know, you just go out there and play hard, and more often than that you'll be okay. And if you pick up an injury, you pick up an injury. But, you know, that'll be great for Mick to be playing that during the winter, because he'll enjoy it and it'll do his football absolutely zero harm. And there's a lot of fellas around the place starting to look at that now. And the basketball, the league is improved. Like when I came in, the quality of athletes in the Irish game is gone. Larkin Murphy there, you put up a few tweets of him dunking the ball from Temple Oak. He's a nightmare to mark. He hangs in the air for like 3 seconds after he jumps. I'm trying to block him and he's hanging in the air, and he's still hanging in the air, and I land on the ground. I could nearly jump again to try and block him. But these are the athletes that we have in the game in Ireland, and you know, it's getting a bit more promotion now.
It's good. Like I was watching some of your stuff on Facebook Live the other week, which is in itself a great service to have to actually watch the thing.
Absolutely.
But like big attendances turning out as well. Like this is not a.
Yeah, we're getting big attendances, and
what numbers will it be?
We always want more. We're getting the 900 to 1,000 every night in the complex in Tralee.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's good. It's very good.
More than a lot of League of Ireland matches, for example.
Yeah, it's good. Look, just people are into it in Kerry, and we're very much part of the community. Our Americans go coaching all the younger academies of both the feeder clubs, St. Brendan's and Imperials. So our guys are getting around and they're meeting these kids, and you know, the kids know they know Trey is playing Saturday night at 8 o'clock. We'll go up and watch that, and they're breaking their mum. Like I was at 12, Mum, will you please take me up? Will you give me the £2 to get in? Whatever it was at the time. but it's the interest is there. But I think the interest in the game in Ireland is growing in a dramatic way anyway, and it's coming from the apps and your social media on your phone, and you're seeing LeBron and you're seeing all these fellas dunking it. But I'd always say is if you're a part of a club, or you know somebody a part of a club, get out on a Saturday night and go to a game. You won't not enjoy it. That's the one thing I can say. There's some games are better than others. But you know that you might leave a soccer game after it's 0-0, it's been a poor game, and you just go, so you're never going to get that in basketball. It's up and down, there's action, there's dunks. In the league now, there's dunks in every game, whereas when I was young, it was only the Americans can dunk it. Our warm-up line is like a dunk contest before the games. I'm trying not to partake too much. I don't want to be showing off in front of the lads. But like we've a young fella, Paul McMahon, he's like Dominique Wilkins, he's a human highlight reel, and just the athletic ability of these guys and the dunks they're doing in warm-ups. You're just kind of saying it's good for the game in Ireland that you have that, because when I was a young fella looking at, all I used to see was the Americans dunking it. But for kids sitting down now watching Irish fellas dunking it everywhere, it's kind of, I can do that. I can play at this level, and it's not over. It's not the NBA, and it's not, it's just an avenue for kids that mightn't be, excelling in other sports. Basketball is always a great one to throw them into, because they're constantly on the ball. The ball is constantly in their hands. You see an under 10 football game, and there'll be two fellas below in the corner having a great chat about what cartoon they were watching yesterday. They'll be freaking out saying, get involved in the game, don't be standing close together. But you inevitably look down the pitch in under 8 game, and there's like 10 fellas below in a circle, they're all talking, next thing the ball comes and it's kicked into the middle of them. Whereas in basketball there's a lot more kind of sharing the ball and getting it around.
And that feeds us in nicely, because we've been distracted by some of these other more minor stories about players returning for 2018 and all that kind of stuff. We're fortunate to have you in, because you're on your way to Belfast for the Basketball Hall of Fame Classic there in the SSE Arena this weekend, and a big part of that is, so there's a bunch of teams coming over from college teams coming over from the US, and you can talk to us about them in a second, but I mean, big part of the rationale here is those points that you're talking about, to try and get an Irish audience interested and get kids interested in the game here, and I guess to try and mushroom out the exposure to high quality basketball in this country.
We're very lucky that we have this coming to Belfast tonight and tomorrow night. It's for Division 1 schools from America that are, I've been watching I've been following them on Twitter and watching their highlights of all the teams, some unbelievable players, and it's exactly that. You've got, and the games count. They count under record. It's not they're not going for a challenge game. Right. I'm not a fan of challenge games in any code, but showing up to play an official game and have it on in Ireland and is a huge thing for the basketball community, and the people of Belfast, and especially the basketball community in Northern Ireland, are blessed to have it on their doorstep. It's a bit more of a hike for the rest of us, but there's busloads going from Tralee from it. I've been talking to people in Cork. There's a lot of them going up to it as well. What I'm hoping for is a real kind of basketball community coming together to get behind it. And what I'd love more, and I said it in an Irish News interview there during the week, is I want people to bring their kids that mightn't have gone to a basketball game before, because you bring someone to a wrong game, it might turn them off it for life. Whereas if you bring a kid that has never seen or been to a basketball game before, and you bring him into the SSE Arena tonight,
quality.
You're guaranteed quality, you're guaranteed the pace and the athleticism, and these aren't the NBA pros who saunter through some regular season games and it's not overly important. These kids are playing for their life tonight. They're on a 4-year scholarship. They could be coming from anywhere to play for these colleges, from all types of different backgrounds. A lot of them tough, call a spade a spade. A lot of them come from very tough backgrounds, and they're into this college thing, and they give it their all, really and truly. They leave their heart out on the floor, and for them coming over here and getting to get around Northern Ireland, get to the Giants Causeway, maybe get down to the Guinness factory after the tournament, get around Dublin, see Ireland. Like I was following a lot of them were getting passports this week.
Right,
America's so big and there's so much going on that they don't really leave. And all of a sudden now they're going to Ireland. Like, for them, I can imagine what their thought process must be. Like, what's going on in Ireland? And I just want to make sure when they get there tonight that they get a massive welcome. They see the love for the game in Ireland by the crowd that'll be there tonight, and there's big numbers. I think Saturday is fairly full, but I think there's still a few tickets for both nights available. So it's just about getting there and getting that seen this action is very lucky to have NCAA basketball with season records on the line, and these games count for them, and they're coming here to play them. We're very lucky to have.
They're serious players. Like, the next step up for these guys, I think, is like a potential NBA draft situation. Like, this is.
That's it. That's what you're looking at. These guys will finish their 4 years of college. Some of them might try to go to the NBA after 2 years. Some of them will want to get their education because they've been lucky enough to get a scholarship, because they're not easy to get in America. So some of them might want their education, something to fall back on. Then you'd have guys going to the NBA. You'd have guys going to Europe. You could have one of these guys could enjoy his time in Ireland and not quite be good enough for the level of the NBA, and say, you know what, I'm going to go to Ireland next year and play with somebody. Had a great time out there for the week they were here. So
you're going to be tapping players up, is what you're saying?
I'm definitely going to. I have my cards loaded in the pocket, and I'll be doing my bit of scouting for the Tralee Warriors, no doubt. But yeah, it's just you know, I think we'd be quite lucky now to get one of these players to come. But yeah, that's definitely their goal. Would be the NBA, and it's just a huge event to have on the island, like, you know, to have these teams coming and have these teams coming to play such huge games, and there'll be a great atmosphere both nights. Well, Friday night and then Saturday at 2 and 5 or half 2 and 5. But it's just exciting. I'm looking forward to getting up there and just watching the teams and getting to mingle around them. And yeah, Kieran O'Sullivan, one of our Tralee lads, is on the LaSalle University team, so he's a 7'2" kid from Tralee. Oof. So that's why the bus loads are coming in their droves from Kerry. To see our own man up there in action will be hugely exciting, and can't wait to get to meet him and wish him luck, and hopefully to see him play a bit tonight, because he's a freshman, so, you know, he's kind of like
fresh. They're called now. Apparently they've done away with freshman.
Oh, have they?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Trinity anyway. It might have not extended to LaSalle University.
They're still freshmen in America. They're still freshmen in America. So yeah, it's to have an Irish kid playing for him, you know. And we've been on the phone, text messaging each other, and for him to be coming over here to be playing with his college, coming from Tralee to be playing in Belfast, is a lovely story in itself, and hopefully that if he plays well, it might be a bit of a story tomorrow in the papers.
Is that an element of promoting the game within Ireland that you think could actually be developed just a little bit, that there's the potential educational opportunity abroad? You could end up in university, going to the college in the States if you reach a certain level of basketball talent, and your Tralee colleague is a prime example of that.
Yeah,
it's something I've never heard been spoken about.
Yeah, no, we and Ryan Leonard, our kid that played with us last year, we won the Champions Trophy, is out in a prep school in New York now, hopefully getting ready to receive some scholarship offers to go to play college for 4 years. Absolutely, it's a huge thing. It's tough on the clubs because they lose a guy, and they're probably going to lose him probably long term, because if he goes to college for 4 years and does well, he's probably going to get a job in Europe playing basketball with some club. But, you know, it doesn't matter. It's about seeing young Irish guys flourish around the world, and if they get over there and they do well, it's definitely, you know, like, it was a huge thing for me, because, you know, I was 21 thinking about going to college in America, and I was of an age where I wasn't wise enough at 18 when I went into Tralee IT for my 3 weeks of being in Horns every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night, which was college for me for 3 weeks, and realising, I can't do this. But, you know, at 21, when I was thinking about going to college,
Were there offers?
Yeah, there was offers, New Mexico and Loyola University in Chicago, and a place called North Park University, which was a Division II school that Russ Bradford, my old coach, went to school there. So the weighing up that to go, and at 21 I was ready to go, like, you know, and I explained that to Ryan. Next year you have a chance of a lifetime. You get out here, good year in a prep school, get all your college paid for, and you're going to be playing basketball 25-26 hours a week, which for me, that was the one thing that I would have liked to done, was go to college for a year to see what they could have done with me. You know, they would have been top coaches. I'm a very coachable guy. I'm like a sponge. I love listening to stuff, so I would have loved all that. And they would have got me stronger. They would have had me on strength and conditioning programs. They would have been getting me to a point where I was able to compete, and hoping my competitive streak in me then would probably, you know, I would think would have got me over the line there. But I would have loved the chance to go. But these guys are getting the chance now, and it's becoming, you know, Jordan Blunt there from Cork, he was playing against Kentucky. He was playing in the Rupp Arena, you know, which is the kind of the mecca of college basketball in America, and we've an Irish kid over there, and he's playing minutes, and I stayed up to watch the game. And so to have that is to have that level of athlete going over there that's able to compete with these guys is huge, and it shows you how much the game is coming on in Ireland, and just
definitely needs to be talked about more. Definitely needs to be promoted more. I haven't heard those guys' names.
I think the whole game needs to be promoted more. And if the game was being promoted more, you'd hear about a guy going to the States, you know, and like it just needs to start with reading out the results every week in a little 5-minute piece, and next thing people are writing in about it. And I was at the game last night and there was some buzz, and you just get a bit of it going, and it's good for the clubs, it's good for their sponsors. We're going out knocking on doors trying to get money. You know, if Garvey's Three Warriors have been mentioned every Sunday on News Talk or whatever after the games, you know, it helps when you go back to these people and say, listen, look, you got shout outs here on this, and then you were on this paper, and you got, you know, you can't pay for that stuff that's on the back pages with your company's logo on it. So, you know, if the papers ran more about it, if the TV and the radio did more, and I think it's getting better, and I think certainly in the last 2 years I think it's improved, and I think it's only going to get better. And you know, Michael Darragh, now another high profile fella playing it up here in Dublin, should attract a good bit of attention, which is great for Basketball Ireland, because they were, you know, they've a tough job to try and get everybody out and try and get, you know, coaching on, and there was no Irish teams for a while. That's back now, which is great. So it's good. The game
going in the right direction.
Yeah, it's going in the right direction. Yeah, which is hugely positive.
You've been brilliant with your time. Thanks a million for coming into us.
No bother.
Getting up bright and early first, as you said. It's not an unusual thing, but do appreciate you coming in. It's been brilliant chatting to you. Thanks a million, Kieran Donaghy. And you can check out tickets, as Kieran says. There are some tickets still available for tonight and tomorrow. Actually, some comments in there before we let you away. At Ref, come on Twitter, says you reckon they should bring back another series of The Underdogs. That was played a big part in your development.
Absolutely. I think it'd be. I think the way there's enough reality TV now that are talking about awful shit, so I'd say to have a load of football.
There's definitely room for that.
There's definitely room for a real GA story, but for me being a part of that was huge, so yeah, I think it'd be great.
David Cares wants to know what Kieran thinks of Lonzo Ball. Reckons that he's going to be a great player.
Yeah, he's got the potential to be a great player.
Who's Lonzo Ball?
He plays with the Los Angeles Lakers. You might have heard of his dad, LeVar Ball. He's going around telling him that his son is better than Kobe Bryant and LeBron James.
Right.
I think you can rest assured Adrian has not heard of it.
Has he not? Okay, we've got to step up our basketball knowledge, Adrian. I'm going to be giving you a test the next time I'm here.
I'm all ears.
Basketball test the next time I'm here. For Adrian.
A few other comments coming in there. We could just scroll down. Tommy Murish Mossy Okunkabar says, a lot of jumping involved in basketball naturally. Are the players and county managers not worried about ACL injuries? We kind of covered that a little bit. Darren Chambers on Facebook and Club Grants, points well made, Kieran, regarding funding for clubs and Dublin not taking the typical anti-Dublin bull, which I'm assuming was what I was coming out with. And Karen on Periscope says, Kieran Donaghy is a great storyteller, enjoying this morning. So it seems there's a future, Kieran. We have another year left, and there might be a future after that. Listen, thanks a million for coming in.
No bother, guys. Thanks
good luck in Belfast over the next couple of days. Hey, hope you enjoyed that latest offering from Off the Ball. If you want to subscribe, and you should, check out just up here. All our latest stuff is just down here. Generally, knock yourself out.